the reason I thought Lomachenko should have won is because there was like 3 rounds where Haney just looked like he was
about to get knocked out.
He looked like he was about to get knocked out. And that's why I would, because those were 3 consistent rounds where I was like, he's in danger. So to me, if I'm seeing 3 consistent rounds that you're in danger, like, and I'm thinking you're going to get knocked out. Like, to me, that's pretty much the clear winner, because I don't think that Lomachenko was ever in that position where he was in danger. He was, Haney was really good with some body shots, but I don't think they did anything to Lomachenko.
Hey guys, welcome to the False Nine podcast here with episode 138. I have a guest. Co-host. It's been tough, doing this on my own. I guess I was going to say this the other day, I guess before we get started, for the small audience that we have and we much love, it's just going to kind of be like this probably for like 2 months. I think, was it June? Yeah, for like about 2 months. And then we got some big stuff coming. Not going to spoil it too much. So stay tuned for that. But we got the Conor documentary came out last week. Francis got his deal with the PFL. We had a big fight this weekend, and it came out with a crazy result that everybody's very upset about. We have the end of basically all the leagues for soccer. Serie A, the Premier League, Mexico League, or Liga MX, all those. So we talk a little bit about that in Champions League at the end. But I watched the full Conor documentary. You watched, I think, majority of it. I want to know your first thoughts right off the bat. Like, what'd you think of it?
That's really good. I liked it. I love McGregor. I think he's super entertaining. He's such a character. So I was excited and looking forward to watching it. I watched maybe like 2 episodes.
Yeah, out of the 4.
Yeah. But it was off to like a really strong start. The very first episode kind of just was who he was before, the UFC, just making his name.
Have you seen his like movie? He has a movie. It's called Notorious. It's a better documentary. That's a lot better than this documentary. So
no, I didn't watch it.
So this is like his second like documentary out. And again, the first one to me was better. This one was started off strong, and I was really hyped about it. But like I told you, like towards the end, it seemed kind of disappointing and unfortunate. It just seemed that way. It seemed like the documentary was supposed to be like him. The ending was supposed to be him. How do I say this again? The ending of the documentary was supposed to be him fighting Khabib and beating Khabib. That was supposed to be the end of that documentary, and it did not happen. And I think the documentary just completely went south because, I mean, he fought Khabib, lost, and the way he lost, and then I think he fought Cerrone after, and then that's when he fought Dustin Poirier the first time and got knocked out. And then, I mean, he broke his leg. But
yeah, see, I only watched like the first 2 episodes, and I thought those were great. I didn't finish it, but I was expecting, or I would think, that his injury after Khabib, like the rest of the documentary, is basically his come up and like how he's improving and how he's working out for his next big fight. But I guess that you're saying that wasn't the case.
No. So it seemed like he had a lot of injuries like throughout this whole documentary too, that he was just fighting injuries after injuries. And even in the Khabib fight, I mean, he went into that fight kind of hurt. So, did you see the part where they showed Khabib retiring?
No.
And then the documentary, and then like you see Conor's reaction? He was like really upset. Like he was like really upset when Khabib announced. Like he just, it looked like Conor was just like, what the fuck's the point then?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool and disappointing because like, this guy beat you, and now you have no way of fighting him back again.
Yeah, it's like his ego basically trying to fight him.
And I think that was kind of cool, but it's upsetting because again, I feel like that's where the documentary was going.
Okay, gotcha.
Was to that build up, and that's kind of, I feel like that was the whole point of the documentary. And then
I don't even know if he's focusing on UFC. He's calling out Canelo, so
yeah, I don't know, but I mean he just entered it's called the USADA pool testing. So basically he's going to start getting tested to be able to compete in the UFC. So he's going to be able to do that now. So he's going to be fighting this year.
I'm sure he was all drugged up from
That's what they say.
surgery.
Yeah.
And he looks a little
he looks huge.
Too slow for for all like natty.
Yeah. So I mean, the conclusion of the documentary, I thought it was really good. Again, it was just it didn't go anywhere to the end. It was just like, where does Conor go from here? Everybody, like the voiceovers on the documentary was like, why is he still fighting? He already made so much money. And I really feel like they put that in there to kind of like give Conor a cushion, like
justify.
I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the top, you know, like Conor, like, I mean, Saul Canelo Alvarez, he makes that type of money and he's still competing at the highest level. It's like, oh, why does he keep fighting? I was like, I mean, he's just a beast like that. Same thing with Mayweather. At one point, it was the same situation. And I feel like right here, they're trying to give Conor a little bit of cushion. Like, oh, he doesn't have to do it anymore. He does it because he wants to do it. You know, I was like, well, when you talking crazy and calling all these people out, I was like, kind of better back it up.
Yeah.
So that's that. I was happy to see it, but a bit disappointed. I really hope Conor can come back. If he loses to Chandler, I think he should retire.
Yeah.
Because Chandler's like a punching bag for everybody. No offense to Chandler. He's a beast, but he can't get a dub against the top 5 guys. So we'll move on from that. We'll talk about Francis Ngannou. I believe we spoke about Francis, didn't we, in one episode? So he finally got his contract with the, I forgot what the P stands for, but it's PFL. It's the Professional Fighters League. So I believe Jake Paul has a contract with them too. They're not really big like the UFC. I believe he's gonna be making more money than he was.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know too many details, but I mean, I even wrote down on the notes. I was just like, not really much to say. I'm kind of happy for Francis for finally getting what he wanted. In my position, like kind of where I stand as a fan, it's just like, was it about like the money and being the voice, you know, of something and wanting to start a movement? Or do you just want to fight the best and, you know, whatever? And I think to me, his priorities are, you know, making a lot of money and trying to change the MMA movement or community. But I feel like that's hard to do if you're not fighting at the top level.
Yeah. So I guess he did, I think, like mention something like, I want everyone here because they take more care of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is hard to believe because I think they do a really good job at the UFC. I think at the UFC, it's like, you know, you put like whatever you put in, that's what you'll get back. I think that's how it is at the UFC. And I mean, I think Dana White is a reasonable guy most of the time. Sometimes he's kind of crazy. But everybody wanted to. One thing that's disappointing is everybody wanted to see Francis Ngannou versus John Jones. Yeah, everybody wanted that fight. Everybody, and we will never ever see it now. Yeah. Because of maybe ego or because of money, or who knows what. I mean, I wish they would have just made like a 1-fight contract, like, hey, you know, we'll give you this much money. We just want this fight to happen. And I mean, after Francis got his deal, John Jones tweeted something about like, you know, you're chirping across the street. Like now you're talking all this shit, but you're not even in the same. We're not in the same like in the same promotion or whatever. And then Francis tweeted back and said, "Why don't you cross the street then?" Basically saying like, if I'll fight you,
fucking lame.
I'll fight you, but you got to come over here.
No, like why don't you go back?
Yeah,
to UFC.
So I mean, and they could make that fight if they wanted to. Like both promotions, like that's what they do in boxing. And I kind of wanted to get there in a second, but John Jones, I mean, I think the only reason why he came back was for Francis. Yeah, you know, because he's even talking about just retiring now after this next fight.
So is there like is it a I don't know, like 5-year contract or?
With who? With the PFL? I don't know, but I know that he's not going to fight this year. His contract is like something that he can't fight this year, and they're going to pay him like $1 million this year itself. It's just like, how you going to pay a guy not to fight? So I don't know. It's all, the details are weird, but that's really weird. It seems like Francis is not going to fight many people. I don't know who he can fight and who's going to want to fight him because he is really good. He's right behind John Jones, and John Jones it's here. So who knows? But one thing I do want to say, I feel like MMA, before when you said UFC, people knew it meant MMA, right? Now you can't say UFC and it means MMA because there's so many other promotions. You know, you got bare knuckle boxing, you got Bellator, etc. And I really feel like, you know, someone like Francis, he's like, well, let me fight John Jones. You know, you're a UFC promotion, we're PFL, let's work something out and let's fight. I don't think Francis and John Jones will happen, but I think they're going to make different fights like that. And I feel like that's how it's going to get with like it's going to be like boxing. Because, you know, you have like the Zone and Showtime, like, you know, they'll, you know, get together. Because usually you only see people fight that are from Showtime against each other, people that are top rank against each other. people that are the zone, like they'll only stay within their promotion. And that's why they say like boxing, politics, and blah, blah, blah. And I really hope mixed martial arts doesn't go that route.
Yeah, that's kind of frustrating because now you have like a sprinkle of good fighters everywhere versus like just an abundant amount of good fighters in one position where they can all fight each other. So that I guess the competition probably at the moment like isn't at its highest just because all these boxers or fighters or are going kind of all over the place. That's what it seems like. And
at least mixed martial arts, at least there seems like there's a lot a lot of fighters available, and it's really entertaining versus boxing. Like you kind of just know what's going to happen. They're just going to box. UFC, you just don't know what's going to be thrown at you. So I don't know. I wish Francis the best. That's all I really could say. I know he's not going to fight anybody like that's going to blow my mind. I probably won't see him fight. I mean, I might just if whatever, but I can't think of a name that he could fight, and I'm gonna be like, wow, I want to see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So let's talk about basically the juice. This Saturday, we both watched the fight, and I was so hyped and so excited. And I do want to say this first. That fight did live up to the hype. There was a lot of it was a very entertaining fight. That fight was so close. So close. And the only thing that was just bad about it was just the outcome.
Yeah.
That's it. So
that was very unexpected. Not unexpected because they could have gone either way, but it was just unexpected how it wasn't even a split decision.
Yeah. So, obviously we're talking about the Devin Haney and I don't know how to say the Lomachenko's first name. It's like Vasiliy Lomachenko. They fought this weekend. Devin Haney got the unanimous decision and everybody was mad, and everybody was talking shit about boxing.
I was mad.
Yeah, and I was upset too. But I do want to say one thing, kind of before we really get talking about it, like, the fight was so even up to 10 rounds. Like the first, 1 through 10 was even. You could have been 5-5, 4-6, or whatever it may be. So I'm a little annoyed with like people all over the internet, like, oh, it's a robbery, blah, blah. Like what the, and I get the frustration. I get that people are mad. But for you to say like it was a robbery and it was like a clear decision, like, no. Like if you watch the last 3 rounds, oh, Lomachenko won. Yeah, but you watch the first 10 or the 10 rounds, it's a close fight.
It's a very close fight.
I remember we were watching the fight. I'm like, I don't know who's winning.
Yeah.
I don't know who's winning.
We were going back and forth.
Now, I personally think Lomachenko won the fight. And everybody believes Lomachenko won the fight. And I think he would have won by split decision. And I was really upset that they gave a unanimous decision to Devin Haney. I was like, Devin Haney didn't.
He didn't do shit.
He didn't. He. In my mind, it wasn't like because unanimous is like here's a clear winner, right? And I'm like, I don't see that.
Yeah, I didn't. See
I was
that
like expecting the split decision, and then also too, when you see Lomachenko destroy Devin Haney in 1 round, that's only 1 round. So people another thing I feel like people don't think about is just like this is what Mayweather did really good. Sometimes he only won 7 rounds. And he got hit ass beat for 4. But he got 7 rounds and the other guy only got 4. Obviously Floyd's gonna win. And that's what happens a lot that's what happened a lot in his fights. And that's what has happened in some UFC fights where I think someone wins, but it's just that round specifically, they did so good that you think they just won the fight. And people make that mistake a lot. And we as fans, what were we gonna say?
I was just going to say the reason I thought Lomachenko should have won is because there was like 3 rounds where Haney just looked like he was
about to get knocked out.
He looked like he was about to get knocked out. And that's why because those were 3 consistent rounds where I was like, he's in danger. So to me, if I'm seeing 3 consistent rounds that you're in danger, like, and I'm thinking you're going to get knocked out. Like, to me, that's pretty much the clear winner because I don't think that Lomachenko was ever in that position where he was in danger. Haney was really good with some body shots, but I don't think they did anything to Lomachenko to maybe like have a close call that, hey, like he's in trouble or he's about to get knocked out. Because I didn't see that. Exactly.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. Because Lomachenko was never in danger. Only Devin Haney.
Yeah, exactly. There was 3 rounds where I was like, he's about to get knocked out. And it didn't happen, but he was clearly in danger, and I think he was in danger most of the fight than Lomachenko ever was.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so that's why I thought he should have won.
Damn, that was good.
It was a really good fight.
It was a really good fight, though. And that's what was even more disappointing, that the fight was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get that shitty result. And it's just like, bro. And it's just like, all I'm talking about it. I'm like, hey, babe, we're going to watch the fight on Saturday. You're like, what fight? And then we, whatever. And I'm talking about it almost every day about the fight. I'm writing it down on my notes. I'm like looking at the Lomachenko's, like, basically his highlights, looking at Devin Haney's highlights, just trying to see, like, who's going to win this fight. And just kind of, like, analyze both of them. And then the day comes, you want to know what you're going to eat, where we're going to watch it, what time, get the chocolate, get the beer, get, whatever. Let's have a good time. And then you watch the fight, you're so entertained, and you're like, oh, my God, like, what's going to happen? And next thing you know, it's like unanimous decision, Devin Haney, and you're like,
what the fuck?
It just kills the vibe. It just killed the whole vibe. It killed the room. And it was so unfortunate for Lomachenko, because that dude, Lomachenko, is a fucking beast. And he also, like, did his country fucking proud and right for doing his time with the Ukraine situation out there, and that's very strong and bold of him to do. Not a lot of people would do that, to put yourself in that situation. And maybe he didn't, like, go and, the front line and to shoot guns and stuff, but he was there to help, and he did his part for his country. And I think that's really honorable of him to do that. And then, he still, gets into the camp and does all the work and cuts weight. And next thing you know, you just get robbed.
That boy's cardio was like, that was amazing.
I didn't think he was going to keep that up. I was like, he's going to see at the 8 or 9. I was like, Devin Haney, that's when he's going to, and I had Devin Haney.
Slow down.
I wanted Devin Haney to win. And I was like, he's going to slow down. He kept going. I told you, I was like, this fight's basically like Devin Haney's Mayweather, and it's not because he's black, but they fight very similar. And then Manny Pacquiao's Lomachenko, because he's short and he's, like, fucking fast and just, like, sturdy. I don't know. He's really good.
Yeah, they were both great fighters. It was amazing. It was an amazing fight. Yeah. Devin obviously is an amazing fighter. I just don't think that he made as much damage as Lomachenko did.
Now, and I really hope, I guess, like, towards the end of, or whatever, or like what's next for both of them. I was telling you, both fighters, in my opinion, are better than any 135 or 140 pounder out there, including, Gervonta Davis or the other guy that came on at the end, Shakir. I think Devin Haney and Lomachenko are the best. Even in, like, I know that, what's his name? Lomachenko lost it to Fimo, but I just don't. If Gervonta, I would love to see Gervonta Davis versus either or of them. Mm-hmm. That would be a crazy fight. Yeah. So, I do want to say that, though. I don't think to those two guys, they're a level up or two than Gervonta, and a few levels up against Ryan. I would love to see Ryan and Devin, because Devin's kind of slow. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if Ryan could catch him. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't know.
Like, what do you think? Basically, like Devin Haney and Lomachenko, like if they were to fight someone like Gervonta,
they're such, like, they were great fighters. They're so technical, and I just don't, like I said, the last podcast too. I just don't think Ryan's as technical. Mm-hmm. So maybe he can knock Devin out. But technicality wise, I think Devin.
I think Lomachenko would destroy Ryan.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an easier, like, yes for me.
What about, like, Devin Haney against Gervonta? Or Devin Haney versus Lomachenko? I mean, Gervonta versus Lomachenko.
I don't know.
That would be a crazy fight.
I don't know.
That would be, I think, fuck it, make that fucking fight.
I think as much as I love Lomachenko, he definitely has some kind, or some obvious.
You did point this out.
Yeah. What is the word I'm looking
Weaknesses?
For? He obviously has
openings.
Yes.
Gaps.
Lomachenko definitely has some weaknesses. As much as I like him, he has some weaknesses that I think that Gervonta Davis could definitely, like, tackle on and maybe knock him out. Yeah,
possibly.
But
I don't know.
But if he doesn't knock him out and they're just going at it, like, I get Lomachenko all the way.
Yeah, I don't. If I were to see that fight, I just don't know how Gervonta, like, handles that pressure, because people like Ryan Broly, they can be that pressure, but it's like, will they hit you?
They get sloppy.
And Lomachenko, to me, Lomachenko's sloppy. It was only his defense a little bit. If I had to point anything out, but his offense and he's gonna hit you.
Yeah, he counters. Like if you're getting at him, like he's just gonna. And the thing I like about him is he doesn't step back.
Yeah,
he's like pushing forward all the way. And that's one thing that I'm just like, that's what I like to see in boxing versus like boxing nowadays. They're dancing around the ring or they're hugging each other. And I'm like, that's
remember that
lame.
Caleb Plant fight?
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking lame. But Lomachenko is like, you know, like that's, I think, the definition of a, you know, real boxer. Just fucking aggressive. He counters. He is good with his movement, defense, offense.
He's a beast.
Love him.
He should have won, and I mean everybody knows, and it's unfortunate that like even Devin Haney and Devin Haney's dad to say that they don't think there should be a rematch, and I was like, that's kind of fucking ridiculous. Salty. And I'm like, let's just be real, you know. You can even say like it was a tight fight, and it could have gone either way, you know. Yeah. And if I was Devin Haney, that's what I would have said, you know, like if it was a tie, I'll just be honest.
Be real. Be real with yourself.
So. People were talking about the judges a little bit on the internet. I saw this clip yesterday about these two judges. This guy was saying, "Is this black dude?" And the reason why I mentioned he's black is like, man, I ride for my people, Devin Haney, but this one he lost. Like I know he lost. And then he started talking about the judges. He was like more into boxing than we are, so he knew the judges' names and all this stuff. He's like, those two judges are known to be like kind of like iffy and like weird calls.
Yeah.
So. Who knows what could have happened there, but it sucks because it's the promotion, like that's kind of, you know, if they're rigging fights, it's the promotion. It's not the boxer. The boxer Devin Haney probably has no fucking clue.
Yeah.
But the promotion wants to push Devin Haney so much that they're going to do whatever it takes for Devin Haney can be the face of boxing right now. Mm-hmm. And that's where like, you know, that's where it gets sloppy and that's where it gets political and that's where boxing is just not boxing anymore.
That's true.
So...
I think UFC is taking over in that aspect.
And they do a really good job.
I used to love boxing.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just some fights where I'm just like, this is fucking lame.
Yeah.
If it's either the hugging or the dancing or the calls. Like,
yeah. So, and I say that because I don't want people to like give Devin Haney a hard time because it's not his fault. It's the promotion's fault. It's the judge's fault. It's all them. Devin Haney, you know, he fought that fight the best he could, and he thought he won the fight, and there's nothing wrong with him for him thinking that, like, for him to celebrate the way he did, because he has no fucking clue. We watched the fight, and he was in the fight, so his perspective is completely different than ours. So, like, you know, I feel bad for him because he's gonna get a lot of hate and a lot of shit, and in his head, you know, he's a champ, and I understand that, you know, and I'm still gonna root for Devin Haney, and I hope they run it back one day. And pretty soon, because Lomachenko, I thought he was younger, and he's 35. You know, he's at probably his peak, but at the peak, you're only there for 2 years.
Exactly.
You know, so I don't want to talk too much about Shakir. I know he came on the end, but I honestly never heard of him like that. I never seen him fight. I heard he's a really good fighter, and I don't say that to like diss him at all. But that's why we're not really gonna say much about him. It looks like they're gonna make that fight next, Shakir versus Devin Haney. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we'll tune in for that, but I wish we can see Loma and Devin Haney running back again.
For sure.
That's what I would love to see. And if that doesn't happen, then Loma against this guy Shakir or Loma against Gervonta Davis.
I really love how Loma's getting all this love and support, though. Yeah. I followed him on Instagram.
Yeah. It was like, sad when he was crying. I wanted to cry, too.
I was like, man, that's how hard as that was in that fight.
Mm-hmm. So... I think we'll see where they both go from here. You know, Devin Haney has a bright future, and it sucks because on the other side, Loma's like kind of, you know, trying to get those last, you know, pieces of like gold, you can say, with the belts, and like trying to finish his career on a strong note because he's 35, and you know, usually after 38, you're kind of,
I would say 37.
Yeah, you kind of just, you know, don't want to put your body through that no more.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that was that fight. It was really good and kind of just lame. Also, too, the week before, they had that Rolly call, too, the Rolly Romero.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
Yeah, so boxing needs to step it up because if they don't, people are going to stop watching it. And, you know, if you're not making these fights, and then on top of that, you don't make the fights, and then on top of that, you get shit like that. So it's like, no one's going to watch it. And then that's why people like me and you now are starting to watch the UFC or bare knuckle boxing, Well, bare knuckle boxing is kind of crazy, but fuck, like, I'd rather watch it if that's what boxing is going to give me, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Champions League semifinals finally concluded last week. Manchester City came through and won. I thought they were going to win without a doubt. I thought it was going to be easy. So they beat Real Madrid 4-0 at the Etihad. It was basically City's home stadium. Inter Milan won. That game, the Real Madrid, I don't even know. I think City's not even going to have a problem with Inter Milan. I think it's going to be a good game. But I'll talk more about them because I know you don't really know the teams like that. But Man City just won the league as well this weekend because Arsenal lost and Manchester City won. So they've got the league in the bag. There's 2 finals they need to play, so they could possibly get the treble, which is a pretty big deal, and it doesn't happen a lot. The coach for Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, he's won 3 league titles with Barcelona. He's won 3 league titles with Bayern Munich. He's won 3 league titles now with Manchester City. The reason why I'm saying that is because there's no question now. I think that he's the best manager to ever exist. And I do want to say that because Pep is a fucking beast. And I want to mention, too, that Manchester City's players, everybody talking about Manchester City, about the money, blah, blah. But all the star players that they have, like, most of them were developed at Manchester City. And then they were renewed contracts, and that's where they spent all that money. And yes, they picked up some pretty solid players, but I'm like, bro, look at Chelsea. Chelsea got a squad. They can't fucking figure it out. And City doesn't have the squad like that Chelsea has. So City has money, has a really good team, and has the best coach in the world. And that's just going to get you a treble or a dominant performance in the league. So shout out to Manchester City. Shout out to Pep. And I think they'll win the Champions League. I think they're going to blow out Inter Milan. So they're going to score more than 3 goals. So it'll be a fun final to watch. I'm trying to think, are there any other leagues besides Liga MX? Because I'll get there. Trying to think of what else. I don't think so. So we had Chivas America last night. Mm-hmm. All the odds were against Chivas. I'll tell you that right now. Chivas was like minus 600, I think, on the bets, at least from Mexico. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my dad did win some money because he plays bets. Yeah, he told his buddy from Mexico to place a bet for him. I think he put $50. That's so he probably won like 150.
Nice.
That'll probably help us with the trip. So we plan on going to watch the game, the final, in Estadio Akron on Sunday. So you probably will not get 2 episodes next week. You'll just get 1. So we're really excited. But, you know, Chivas came with the win. I told my mom, I told my cousin, I was like, it's going to be so hard for them to get the win. The only way they get the win is that they have to score in the first half. And they did. Mm-hmm. But then America scored. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, now you have to score 2 goals. And, I mean, things just worked out for us. Are we in 27?
28.
All right. We about to end it here.
I was scared for you guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, America scored like in the 60-something minute. And it's just like, bro, now we got to score 2. And then luckily they get this guy. So basically a Chivas player and America player, they kind of get into it. And then, like, the play after, the America player that got into it, I think he was still heated. So he did a tackle, got the red card. Then we score 5 minutes later or a few minutes later. And then we score at the end on 88th minute. And everybody goes fucking nuts. And now we're in the finals. We're going to play Tigres. And it's going to be the same, like the last championship. The exact same way. We're going to play Tigres at Tigres first. Then we'll play at Estadio Akron. And we're going to be fucking champions of Liga MX. Peace.
Nice.